Leo and Scorpio. Are these two compatible? And what happens when these two enter a relationship? Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to dive deep into the compatibility between Leo and Scorpio. So Leo and Scorpio. Two really intimidating and almost deadly creatures. I mean, you don't go messing around with scorpions and lions. You don't provoke them. You don't enter their space without knowing how to deal with them. Because if you don't, then things can start getting really tricky and challenging for you. Both Leo and Scorpio are fixed signs, so essentially their intrinsic nature can be quite similar. They're very stubborn, they're very hard-headed. When they believe in something, they stick to it. They don't chop and change on their values and their beliefs. Now let's talk about Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. This means that Leo individuals are naturally bright people that light up any room they enter. They have this really big, intense, influenceable energy, and you really can't ignore their presence. Leo rules the 5th house in the natal wheel, which represents creativity, it represents casual romantic encounters, and it represents children. It also represents things like parties and fun times. So these are all things that Leos are stars at. They're great at dealing with children. They might have quite a few casual romantic encounters throughout their life. They love to have a good time, and they love creativity and expressing themselves. Next, we're diving into Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. Now, interestingly, Mars also rules Aries, which is another fire sign, and Mars is very responsible for their incredibly self-determined nature and their ability to act on things and go after what they want. Now, similarly, Scorpios are like this. When they set their heart onto something, they go after it. But just like Leo and Aries, Scorpios are really a force to be reckoned with. They're semi-ruled by the god of war, which means that when they're triggered and when they're upset, their emotions flare up and they become incredibly defensive, maybe even a little bit aggressive. In the natal wheel, Scorpio rules the 8th house, which represents rebirth, transformation, inheritances, sexuality, and all the things that we essentially keep hidden. This means that Scorpios are these incredibly intense and deep people that go through these profound emotional transformations throughout their life. Their sexual nature can be very deep and complex. They're very good at connecting and intertwining themselves with other people and sharing their lives and resources with them. Scorpio represents the ultimate level of connection and intimacy in personal relationships. So both Leo and Scorpio want to be the boss, but in different ways. Leo's all, look at me, I'm the king, while Scorpio is more of a behind-the-scenes puppet master. Never underestimate Scorpio's subtle strategies, and don't jump to conclusions about who's wearing the pants here. Scorpio really gets it when Leo's feeling down. They can be super comforting to Leo as long as they aren't the reason for Leo's bruised ego. If Scorpio was the one that upset Leo, good luck getting any sympathy. Both of them think they've got a monopoly on being right. These two people are essentially locked in this internal battle of stubbornness. They both want to constantly have the final word on everything, and things can be quite rocky at times in this relationship. I think a very big theme with Leo and Scorpio, and a very big reason why they can struggle in their relationship sometimes, is because of power. Both these signs want power and control. Now the thing is, the issue occurs when they try to have power and control over each other, which will not happen. When one of them tries to do that, the other one will retaliate and turn completely against their partner. So the key here is to really create a life where they can have power and control together over their life, if that makes sense. So what I mean is that instead of trying to control each other and to have this dynamic of who's the more powerful one in the relationship, they should bring their power together and make themselves essentially a power couple and create the success and happiness in the life that they want through taking control and having power over their lives directly. So it's all really just about switching the energy and switching the focus in this dynamic. In this relationship, neither of them is going to be the one with the power, or the one who's on top, or the one who's in charge. These two will always remain equals, no matter how hard either of them tries to get on top, to be the one on top. But the issue is that they run in these circles and they have this incredibly negative, toxic relationship dynamic when it becomes about trying to one-up each other and be better or more powerful than each other. There can be a lot of bitterness, lots of revenge, lots of grudges that are held onto for months or years within this relationship dynamic. But instead of being against each other, they need to channel that energy together, find a way that they can work together, and if they actually direct that energy into creating a better life for themselves, having more money, having a happier family, being able to travel or do whatever makes them happy, they can actually make this work. But so often these couples waste their energy trying to compete with each other. So when it comes to children and adults, or a specific dynamic where either the Leo or the Scorpio is maybe younger or older, they actually get together a lot better. So the reason for this is when Leo and Scorpio are grown up, they've really developed their ego. They've developed their defenses. However, when one of them is still very young, their ego is still very small and very underdeveloped, so they're a lot more open, a lot more accepting, and a lot less defensive towards the other. So often in a parent-child dynamic, Leo and Scorpio can be super powerful, or even in like a teacher-student dynamic. It's important to mention that Leo and Scorpio create a square between each other on the natal wheel, which is considered a negative aspect. But I don't really believe in negative aspects per se. I think that certain aspects are just more challenging and you just really need to put a lot more effort to overcome them and work with them. So Leo and Scorpio naturally have a challenging relationship that's full of friction. It's not a harmonious one. It's not one where they easily get each other, where they're constantly on the same page, where they see eye to eye. For examples, when two water signs are together, it creates a trine. This is super harmonious. When two fire signs get together, it creates a trine. This is super harmonious. However, fire and water can be a little bit turbulent. So what I'm getting at is this is considered one of the more challenging relationships when it comes to compatibility. If you zoom out and you look at things in terms of astrological terms and astrological understanding, this is considered not a compatible relationship. But I have seen many Leos and Scorpios be together for years and be happy, but they only really reach that sense of happiness once they overcome challenges in their relationships and their egos. The big problem here is that each of them has a very big ego, and they really need to kind of eliminate their ego in their relationship when dealing with each other in order for things to be a lot better. When there's a lot of ego involved, damn, it can be a really difficult relationship. But with squares, once the challenges are overcome, there are a lot of strengths. So when Leo and Scorpio can overcome a lot of the friction and difficulty that they experience together, they can actually be super powerful together. So where they work well together is that Leo is a very loyal sign and they love to be admired. They love to be adored. Scorpio is super intense when it comes to love, and their partner essentially becomes their entire world, their entire existence. And Leo loves this. Leo wants a partner who's entirely obsessed with them, a partner who makes them their life. But the issue here is that Scorpio can be a little bit controlling. Scorpio can be a little bit possessive, and so can Leo, but in a different way. So Leo likes to be more social, be more outgoing perhaps, if they don't have aspects in their chart that makes them more introverted. They like to shine, they like to gain the attention of many, and Scorpio will not like this. Scorpio kind of wants their Leo partner to be a bit more private, to be a bit more confined, to kind of dull things down a bit when around others, because they might get a little bit jealous at the attention that other people are giving them. So basically, Scorpio wants to be the only one providing Leo with that sense of admiration and love and connection. When other people give Leo this, it can really set a fire alight in the Scorpio. So essentially, Scorpio's devotion to Leo and vice versa, Leo's devotion to Scorpio, is literally the foundation of this relationship. The thing is that if they can't figure out how to respect each other's egos and boundaries, things can fizzle out very fast. Scorpio won't back down and Leo won't stop shining. And another thing is that neither of them is willing to give up their I'm always right badge. So if you want to make it work, focus on a shared goal instead of who's the boss. You can do great things together, but remember, Scorpio's loyalty is intense. And Leo, you're not gonna find anyone who loves you like that. But Scorpio, don't forget, Leos have a generous spirit that's hard to match. So don't go putting out their fire too quickly. So let's specifically dive into the compatibility between the Leo woman and the Scorpio man. When it comes to Scorpio men and Leo women, they're kind of like water meeting fire. Scorpio's deep emotions can often put out Leo's fiery enthusiasm. Water can shape rocks, and fire can only burn stuff up. Water just goes with the flow, you know? So Leo women are like social butterflies, but that doesn't mean that they're cool with Scorpios peering into their souls. Scorpios often need to chill when they get to know their Leo women before diving in so deep. Leo women can often find Scorpios' intensity and their need to know everything about them all the time quite overwhelming and maybe a little bit unsettling. Yes, Leo loves the attention and the admiration, but there is a point where it can also get too much to them. Money can be a big deal and a very, very big problem in this relationship. Leo loves to spend it, but Scorpio is a lot more reserved and likes to save it. But the issue is that neither of them likes being told what to do with their cash. So often when they join their cash and they join their bank accounts, it can be chaos, and it's actually not advised in this particular relationship. It's actually best for these two to have separate finances and separate bank accounts. Neither Leo nor Scorpio wants somebody else controlling their finances or having a say in what they do with their money, so it's actually best for them to go about this separate financial life dynamic. I've noticed that often a very big issue in this relationship as well is that Leo really wants to focus a lot of time on their career or the creative passion or their hobby or whatever. But to Scorpio, the Leo and their family is their passion. So Scorpio really wants to spend more time with Leo and more time on growing and building their family, building a connection between them. But Leo's a lot more focused on their own personal endeavors. This can be quite unsettling for Scorpio because they really want to remain connected all the time. So often Leo's hobbies or the things that Leo engages in a lot and their outgoing life and all their friends can really irritate Scorpio because Scorpio feels like it's stealing a lot of the time that they should be getting with the Leo away from them. So when it comes to intimacy, it's important to know that Leo is all about praise and beautiful words and verbal love. They want to hear how incredible they are, and that's really what gets them turned on. Scorpios, on the other hand, they want that deep connection, that deep soul-to-soul bond, and if they don't feel that connected to their partner, it's hard for them to get turned on. So the thing here is that Scorpio essentially really needs to consistently tell Leo how incredible they are, how much they love them, how lucky they are to have them in their lives. And then Leo needs to ensure that they give Scorpio the time and the connection that they're seeking. What happens is that if Leo refuses to give Scorpio the time and the connection they seek, Scorpio refuses to praise Leo. Scorpio refuses to tell Leo how incredible they are, and they become resentful and bitter, and they actually become super critical towards the Leo, and that's where intimacy issues really start. So if they can identify each other's core needs, this can easily be overcome. But the issue is that they're both fixed signs, so they're both super stubborn. So they need to overcome their stubbornness before they can actually see what the other really needs. Having a common goal is really the saving grace in this relationship. Because they're fixed signs, they really love to pour their energy into something that they want to manifest. But if they're both focused on manifesting a similar thing or the same thing, then they can really thrive. So I read in one of Linda Goodman's books that Scorpio and Leo is actually the only couple in the zodiac that is able to make the relationship work when they have a child. Other zodiac couples, even though they want the kid to keep them together, the kid doesn't, and they can often separate. But with Scorpio and Leo, because the child represents a common goal, it represents a shared purpose that they can pour their energy into, a child really can keep this couple together. Let's dive into the dynamic between the Scorpio woman and the Leo man. So the Scorpio woman's allure is undeniable for the Leo man. While she may play it off like she's a novice in life's games, she's actually a sage in the ways of emotion and intuition. Don't fall for her modest act. She's actually wise beyond her years. The Leo man, on the other hand, exudes a kind of self-assurance that hooks her right in. He's got swagger, but it's more than that. It's a confidence that she wishes she could wear so openly. He's her key to unlocking the emotional depth she feels that she can never expose. They find a sort of magnetism in each other's gaze. To him, her eyes are like deep pools of secrets, or sometimes even like tempests in the ocean. And that's not just intriguing, it's flat out exhilarating for him. She is envious of his natural ability to emanate warmth. But when he's around, she really feels like she's near an eternal fire. The Scorpio woman secretly wishes that she could be as open with her emotions as the Leo man. But the thing is that the Scorpio woman hates the Leo man's arrogance, while the Leo man can't stand her silence. The thing is, they don't realize that they're mirror images of each other's flaws. His arrogance is met by her icy silence. But break down those walls and you'll find the Scorpio woman incredibly devoted and the Leo man super dependable. Just a genuine compliment between each other can really turn things around. When they leave that state of resentment and hatred towards each other, the air really lifts and everything becomes a lot lighter. So the thing is that Leo is incredibly attracted to this air of mystery and secrecy that the Scorpio exudes. Leos are actually more attracted to partners that keep them guessing, that keep them wondering. And for this reason, Leo can be incredibly attracted to Scorpio. Another thing that really attracts them to each other is their strong emotional intensity. Leo really wants to feel the love. They want to feel the passion, and that's exactly what Scorpio is all about. Scorpio feels things so deeply, and they really want to feel those good emotions with their Leo partner. So both these signs don't lack confidence. They're both incredibly confident, but the difference is that Leo's a lot more outwardly confident, whereas Scorpio doesn't know how to be so outwardly confident. So all the confidence is turned inward. It's more internal. That's why Scorpios kind of have this silent strength about them. They don't say much, but you can feel their power. Whereas with Leos, on the other hand, you know they're powerful because they're telling you, because they're showing you. So the thing is, Scorpio really admires how Leo is able to wear their confidence on their sleeve so easily. Scorpio wishes they can be a little bit more expressive, a little bit more out there. The thing is, Leo is bold. Leo is fearless. Leos take risks. They do crazy things. And that is something that Scorpio loves. They don't want a partner who's going to be boring and who's not going to get the blood rushing. They want a partner who's exciting. So the really big challenges in this relationship is power struggles. Both Leo and Scorpio want to be in control. Leo wants to be the king of the jungle and Scorpio wants to be the puppet master. When you've got two alphas, finding a balance of power can get messy. One day the Leo's the star and the next Scorpio's pulling the strings. Emotional communication is another issue between these two. Leo is an open book, wearing their heart on their sleeve. Scorpio, not so much. They keep their cards close to their chest. Leo might take Scorpio's reserved nature for aloofness, while Scorpio might find Leo's openness a bit too much. Understanding each other's emotional cues is a really steep learning curve for these two. So in order to make it work, open communication is super important. You two gotta talk. Leo, don't assume that Scorpio understands your theatrical expressions. And Scorpio, you gotta let Leo in on those deep emotional currents. It might be awkward, but it's important to understand that love isn't a mind-reading game. It's important for these two to respect each other's space. Leo, you love the spotlight, we get it. But sometimes Scorpio needs to retreat into their shell for some me time. Give them that space, no questions asked. And Scorpio, you too. Leo needs their social circle and adoring fans. Let them shine without throwing shade. So really, is Leo and Scorpio compatible? Technically, no. But from my experience, some of the most challenging relationships can be the most rewarding ones as well. And I think with Leo and Scorpio, this is the case. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, there's so much friction. But at the end of the day, often they are exactly what the other person is looking for. And if they can really overcome their egos and the challenges between each other in this relationship, they can be super powerful and manifest the life of their dreams together. They just need to make sure that they apply all their power into that, into creating a beautiful life together instead of being against each other. So this is my video on Leo and Scorpio compatibility. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Are you a Leo and Scorpio who's in a relationship with a Leo or Scorpio? And can you relate to what I've said? What has your experience been like in your relationship? Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.